Welcome, everybody. If, just a kind reminder that if we can keep our mics off, and so that we can, be heard. I also want to let everybody know that we have York District School Board teacher who is also qualified Cricket Australia Level 2 coach, Sunil Kandor, who will be on the chat box helping out if you have any questions. So we will stop at the end of each sort of module and have a more interactive discussion. But if you have something on your mind that you'd really like to get answered, Sunil will be able to answer it on the chat box. And I believe he'll be on the chat anytime soon. So before I move on further, I just want to introduce some of the helpers or assistants in today's session. And we have here Akash Gill, who started his cricket here in Ontario. He was born in Ontario and played 2 World Cups for Canada at the under-19 level. He's gone on and he's played in New Zealand, and he's actually going to be contracted there pretty soon once the borders open up. And then over to his left, we have Dashi Bartholomews, who's a strength and conditioning coach, and she's been heavily involved in the women's cricket here with our youth programs and senior programs, and is now the Cricket Ontario strength and conditioning coach for the women's program. And then over there, Sid, you could probably move in a bit, is Sid Ladd, and he's a under-19 squad member for the Canadian team, which will be leaving for the World Cup in January. So we have some excellent demonstrators here who will help us move through this session smoothly. So before we move on, I just wanted to go through the equipment that we will be, I'll be speaking about over and over again, and we'll start with probably, my favorite piece of equipment, because I like the bat, but this is the cricket bat. We'll start with here. This is the handle. The red part is the handle. And when I refer to the top of the bat, this is what I mean by the top of the bat. So that means the end of the handle. And then at the bottom of the handle is where you will have the cricket bat face beginning. And the face is the flat part. And I guess this is the best way to demonstrate it. There, it's the flat part. On the back of the bat is a little hump. And the actual cricket bats, wooden cricket bats, are designed like this so that you can have the thickest part of the wood on the area that you want to hit. So if you look, right here is probably the thickest part of the wood, and right here is what they call the sweet spot of the bat, right underneath the sticker here. So when we're trying to hit from here really, so that we can get the most out of the hit. I think the ball is self-explanatory. But I'd like to go over something that's unique in a cricket ball, and that's the seam. This is a real hard ball, and there's a seam. I'm not sure if you can see it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There you go. It's the green seam over here, and that just splits it in half, and it can become really useful at higher levels when you're trying to curve the ball or spin the ball. So we have the cricket set that we use in junior cricket and in schools cricket is the rubber ball with the molded seam on it. Right. Moving on from there, we have what are called the wickets. Now the wickets are 3 sticks, and in this case, there's a base to hold them because they're plastic. But in real cricket, they would be wood, made out of wood, and they would have a point at the end and be dug into the ground. Now, this is what I would sort of refer to as almost a strike zone, which you have in baseball. So our bowlers / pitchers are aiming to hit these 3 sticks. So if we're looking at goals and roles for each player, the batter is not only trying to defend these by hitting the ball, we also want to score runs by hitting the ball as well. And the bowler's goal is to bowl, bounce the ball in front of the batter, and hit these wickets. So that's at a basic level. So moving on from there now, what I want to just quickly talk about is what Ranil had introduced is the modified game of cricket that we're going to introduce today, which I've used in hundreds of schools all over Ontario, outside of Canada as well, which is a quick game which gets everybody participating. Everybody gets a chance to hit, everybody gets a chance to field, and it's actually a fast-paced game which introduces the skills of batting and fielding, especially in cricket, and that's called continuous cricket. So that's what we're trying to achieve from this session today. We'll move into batting basics, so the fundamentals of batting, the fundamentals of bowling, which is the equivalent to pitching in baseball, and then we'll talk about some fielding drills that we do. And all these activities can be found in a manual that Ranil can share with you all at the end. And yeah, and then if we have any questions about that, we're be glad to go over it and see how we can help you. We'll also talk about equipment that you can use if you don't have the cricket sets. We've used tennis rackets as bats, Nerf balls as balls for, especially for younger groups who have a hard time hitting the smaller ball. But we'll talk about that later. And now I think we'd like to roll into an overview of the game at a very high level. And this is pretty much international cricket, and it'll help you understand the game a bit better. So we can go ahead with that demo or video.
Cricket is a sport that is played by millions and loved by billions of people from all corners of the globe. Cricket has been played for centuries, with the first international match occurring way back in 1844. From that time, it has continued to develop into the vibrant and exciting modern game that is played today. Cricket is a bat and ball sport that involves two teams with 11 players on each side. The aim of the game is to score more runs than the opposition. One player, the bowler, bowls a hard leather ball at speeds of up to 150 kilometers per hour at a player from the opposing team, who then attempts to hit it with a bat in order to score runs. Cricket is played on an oval-shaped field, and in the middle of that field is the pitch, which is where most of the action takes place. At either end of the pitch, you'll find these things. They're called wickets, and they're made up of 3 wooden stumps that support 2 bails. They're important, but we'll come back to them shortly. The batting team has 2 batters at a time in play, whilst the fielding side has all 11 players on the field. A batter scores runs in 2 ways. 1. They hit the ball far enough that it crosses the outer boundary of the field. If the ball has bounced, it's worth 4 runs. If it clears the boundary on the full, it's worth 6, the maximum number of runs that can be scored from 1 hit. 2. Through the 2 batters running the length of the pitch in opposite directions whilst the fielders are retrieving the ball. 1 length of the pitch completed equals 1 run. The aim for the fielding side is to restrict the number of runs scored by the batting side, whilst trying to get the batter out. There are 11 different ways a batter can be out, with the most common being bowled. The bowler bowls the ball, the batter misses it or deflects it by accident, it hits the stumps, and the bails come off. Caught. The batter hits the ball, and one of the fielders catches it before it hits the ground. Leg before wicket, LBW. Exactly what the name suggests. The bowler bowls the ball, the batter misses it, and the ball hits them on the leg in line with the stumps. Run out. The batter hits the ball and runs, but the fielding team retrieve the ball and throw it to the stumps before either batter has reached the other end. When a batter's out, they leave the field of play and another teammate replaces them. Once all the batters on a team are out, the sides swap, and the fielding team then have their turn to bat and attempt to beat the overall score set by the first batting team. Put simply, the winner is the team with the most runs after both sides have batted.
Great. So on a high level, that is the game of cricket. As you can see, it's pretty dynamic. It's really changed over the last, you could say, 20 years, even the last 10 years. It's become a very marketable sport. It's probably the second most followed sport in the world, next to soccer, football, as they call it. And it is growing rapidly in Canada. And we're really excited that through this program, we're able to reach out to different school boards than traditionally that has been played in. And we're looking forward to see the growth in both the boys and girls, like for intramural and team sports as well. So moving forward now, what we're going to do is talk about the continuous cricket. We're going to talk about the setup of the gym, and I will refer to these pieces of equipment. And if we can roll the clip there, the slide. Perfect. So at one end of the gym, we'll have the stumps, and we'll form a triangle with 3 cones. And the 2 yellow cones are bases that players will run to after they strike or even miss the ball. And that's going to be placed at 20 feet to the left and to the right of the wickets. And just in front of the wickets, just as before we move into the next visual, is where the batters will stand. If we can go back to that, go back to that slide. And then directly in front, where the orange cone is placed, we could say 30 to 40 feet would be the bowler. In this case, how the game moves quite smoothly, especially for younger age levels, is that at the teacher or the coach will throw the ball. So there's more control, and the game moves more smoothly. As players become more competent and comfortable with throwing the ball in a straight line, maybe older age groups, we can replace that particular position with another player. So if you imagine from that that slide, what we'll have is players around the perimeter of the gym, one batter batting at the stumps, at the yellow stumps, and then the teacher or the coach at the orange stump. Perfect. And then we can move on to the next slide, which will help give you a better idea of how the positioning and how the game would look. Right? So we have the batter standing, as I said, just in front of the wickets. And usually what we do is we have a little line 4 feet in front. And in a gym, you can, there's many options where to place the wicket so that there's 4 feet in front, a line where the batsman can stand. If you don't have it, you can also put a cone or a marking on the ground so that the batter knows where to stand. Just behind the batter, we have a wicket keeper, which is the equivalent to a back catcher in baseball. And directly in front, the person in the throwing action is the teacher in this case. And the players would be more spread out around the gym. They are a bit clustered in this picture. Now, there's an arrow, and that arrow signifies the direction which the batsman will run, or the batter will run after making contact or not making contact. And that's important in this game because the whole objective is for the batter to hit or miss. We can just go back there, hit or miss, and run to the yellow cone and run back and get ready for the next delivery. The goal of the fielders is to retrieve and get the ball back to the teacher as soon as possible so that the teacher can get ready for the next throw and release it. Now, the batter will run back and forth, but the teacher will not wait. The thrower, the bowler, will not wait for the batter to get back. So that's the challenge of this, is that the batter must get back in time. Great. And again, if we have any questions on the chat, we can go ahead and ask. I believe Sunil's in there, and Sunil can help with answering some questions along the way, and then we can probably stop after this and I can interact with you. But I'd like to move into a video which demonstrates the continuous cricket. And, you know, we've played this with group sizes as big as 40. And then I'll talk about the different ways that we progress this and we can modify it so that it keeps everybody active, and not only that, challenges the players as they get used to this game. Great, so there we have the teacher right in front with the cap, Akash. And we have the fielders, which are spread around the gym area. And then we have a batter standing in front of the wicket. So we'll just have a look here. The bowler is trying to underhand and hit the wicket. The batter is trying to hit, run to his cone and come back. The fielders are retrieving the ball as soon as possible and sending it back to the bowler. Now the batter can decide to run in any direction, left or right. And in this game, it's not typical of what we saw in the earlier video, but what this does is it teaches batting skills. It helps with fielding skills as well, throwing skills, and then very importantly, it helps them to move around and be active. So that was just a basic view of it. Now we'll move into the next video, which is something which shows it a bit more in action.
Is this directly after?
I think well, there's a different variation at 7:30. But, before that, we have another one.
You want the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. Go back to that 6.
Okay, so the batter's trying to run back and get there in time. Now, the ways the batter can get out are caught. The batter hits like a pop fly and the fielder catches it, then the batter's out, then the next person in the rotation will change. Or the batter can get bowled. And if we just pause it there, bowled means that the batter misses the ball and the ball goes on to hit these wickets there, the yellow wickets. So those are the two main ways in this modified game that a batter can get out. The other way, we can retire a batter. I mean, because we'll have some players that can go on and hit all day, really. We can give them a maximum of 4 hits or four runs, and then they'll have to retire, and then we rotate. So you can go ahead with the video. That's it, yeah. So the batter missed, they continued to run as well.
The Jumpstart
Another
program,
progression-
If we watch this workshop, then they'll give us cricket equipment for school.
Another progression to this game is that players rotate after each hit. So this is really fast paced, and I mean, not only as a practice drill before playing a real cricket game, this gets everybody going, and there's no downtime really. So the fielders have to be very, very quick in getting the ball back. And there's an example of the batter not being in position in time and getting out. So, yeah, so those are like 3 basic, progressions. We spoke about the one where players just get a chance and then they rotate. And then we put limitations on it where they have a certain amount of balls to hit. And then we have this one where they're rotating each ball, and each delivery is an event almost. So do we have any questions that I can take? Maybe a hands up, and then we can, Milan, you could, yeah?
I don't see any hands.
Any hands up? Okay, so, I mean, we can always come back to it later at the end when we have, question and answer period. So now moving on, I want to talk about batting, and we just saw basic example of cricket batting in in our own demonstration, and then what you saw in the video. And I'd like to begin with the grip. And now I'm going to call on these demonstrators here to show us how to hold the bat. And we'll just look at the clip first. And one of the key things that we see here is that there's a V formation with the bottom hand, and if you looked at the top hand, there would be another V. So I'll get Sid over here to break it down and show us the grip. It should be almost like a close-up of his hand. And Sid, if you can show us your top hand first, like take off your bottom hand, good. And drop the bat down. No, I mean, yeah, good, right there. There. Okay, so there's a V, and you want to show the V with your hand? There. Good. And then the other hand is bottom hand, which would be his right hand, goes right underneath. So as a right-handed batter, and if we could zoom out now, right, as a right-handed batter, his right hand goes on the bottom, his left hand goes on the top of the handle. And I did explain the top of the handle and the bottom of the handle. And they pretty much, these hands are working together, we like to think in cricket, so that you can hit the ball either on the ground or in the air at your, at your will, really. Now the batter will stand in a side-on position. Maybe we can show the clip and then come back to Sid after. The next clip, which is the batter's stance. Perfect. So the bottom three pictures are the batting setup, where we have a right-handed batter facing up to a bowler, which would be in a real game of cricket, 66 feet apart. In our continuous cricket, it's 30 to 40 feet. Remember, marked by that orange triangle. And so the batter's left shoulder would be pointing to the bowler or pitcher. The elbow would continue that. The front elbow, which is the left elbow, would be pointing to the bowler. And then the feet would be spaced out in a shoulder width distance. Technically, we call this batting sideways in cricket. Now, if you look at the top, traditionally the bat starts on the ground or at the bottom, and then moves up into a hitting position. Now, really, in the game of continuous cricket, we're just trying to introduce this game, so this may not be that relevant. But as you move on and as the game grows, it's something good to know. And this is a sort of a more technical piece when we're talking about cricket. So Sid, you could probably show them, and if we can zoom out, is that possible? Good. So Sid here is in a batting stance. That's great. That's a good view. And we're gonna have a look. Dashi, if you move this way so we can get it perfect. And Dashi can come up and show us as well. So the bat's gonna go up, step to the ball, and swing. That's from the front. Can you show us from the side, Dashi? So it's sideways, the ball is coming in. Sid, you can come in. Good, so sideways. Now we're gonna pretend that, sorry, Dashi, the wickets are here now. And she's gonna step to the ball and swing. And they'll swing them much harder than that when they're ready to hit, right? So that's the basic cricket shot, the basic movement, the basic grip. And then what we can do now is we can advance this into a drill. And I'm going to show you two progressions of the drill, and you know what, we'll demonstrate it. We don't need to go to the video, right? Okay. We'll just do it right here. So we don't even need stumps for this drill. We don't need wickets. The equipment that's required is a cricket bat and 3 cones. So what I'll do is I'll set up a goal area. So this is the goal area. Come back here. Okay, the goal area. So we're giving them a good wide area. If you can see these 2 red cones, we're giving them a good wide area to hit to. And then we're going to have a hitting tee, a hitting cone. And I think Renaud will talk about this later, but there are some equipment packages that are available to schools, and this is part of it. It's a handy little tool. So, okay, we'll have a batter. Dashi, do you want to field it? Okay. So we have a fielder, just about 4 feet from the cones. Now Sid, as a batter, his goal is to swing and hit it through the 2 cones. Great job. Now, we're incorporating fielding skills, as Dashi's showing, hitting skills, and now I'll show you how we can progress this. Go ahead and send it back to the Sid. Sid puts it on there. Oh, the mic. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I guess you can hear me better now. If we can go back, like zoom up. If we can zoom out. Perfect. Not audible now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Just talk loud.
Yeah, so what we'll do here is Sid's gonna hit again. So we're incorporating fielding skills, batting skills, and to make it a bit more competitive, what we'll do, or not even competitive, but get everybody involved in the class, you can imagine, we can have 3 stations of 10. So I'll come over here. Is that better? 3 stations of 10. And in these stations, we have 9 people lined up here, 1 batter. And as the batter gets 1 hit, we're gonna show the rotation, right? Okay, so Dashi, you're gonna field it. Yeah. Run with the ball. Sid, come this way. Good. Akash, come in here. Good. Good. And this is a simple batting drill that we can teach the basic cricket shot, and we'll get players more comfortable with the continuous cricket as well. Good. And now once the players become better and better, what we can do, Dashi, we're going to take away the cone. Okay, and Akash, you're just going to toss it. So this is a progression where the players, when they become comfortable with hitting off the cone and they're ready to hit a moving ball, they can then move onto this where the ball might bounce 2 or 3 times. Good job. And again, the goal was to get the ball through the cones. Did that well. They're obviously making it look really easy. We can do this with a Nerf ball, which is easier to hit. And if you don't have the cricket equipment, you can use a tennis racket. Great. Another way we can progress this and make this really challenging is by making the target smaller. Ready? So, good job. So I think, go ahead, do the last one. Perfect. Wow.
Nice.
So that's a basic batting drill that you could do. If we have, we do have other skills, but I think at an entry level, this one for me is probably the best drill to do to get the batters swinging in a decent arc and trying to hit through a target. That's very, very it's a very fundamental skill for cricket for batters. If we have any questions, again, we can go ahead in the chat and ask, or if anybody wants to put their hand up and ask a question, I can certainly help by answering.
Peter.
Sorry?
Peter.
Peter. Okay. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Derek. Would you do this outside?
Yes, we can do it outside. In fact, these drills that we're showing today can be done inside and outside. Even the game of continuous cricket, it can be done outside. We will have we'll have more room to run in the sense the batters can run 2s and 3s with a lot more ease because it's a bigger area. But in a gymnasium, they'd be looking to hit 1s or at max two runs at a time. But definitely these drills can be done outdoor rather. Is that good?
Just ask anybody there.
Yeah, anybody else, if you have any questions, feel free now. I'd love to help out. Okay, we're good.
Nobody speaking?
No, nobody's speaking yet. We can move on now to the next next part of the presentation today, and that's bowling. So we can go to the first slide, and once we get onto the slide, we'll just pause it and I'll talk on it a little bit.
Windmill?
Yeah, windmill, perfect. Okay, so the bowling. So one of the a few of the key differences in cricket between sort of cricket and baseball is pitching and bowling. So I do refer to it so that people can be comfortable and understand what the position is. They are trying to deliver the ball to the batter. The batter's trying to hit that ball. A couple of the key differences are that, and I think one of the most notable differences would be that the delivering arm, or so the pitching arm, so in this case it would be the right arm, will stay completely straight right through the entire action. So it is something which is, it takes a bit of practice to understand and to get it right, but it is part of the rules of the game. And what we like to use as an example is a windmill or a seesaw. And how that is that when the highest point comes down, or in this case, the front arm, the leading arm, one of the blades of the windmill goes down, the other one comes up straight. And I think we have some nice videos to help demonstrate that. Or you know what, why don't we just do this? Why don't we get one of our talented demonstrators to show. So what we'll do is, you'll stay sideways, yeah. So in this case, the batter would be down there. I could actually just get in the windmill position, rock back. So good, right, and the arm comes through. So another way to explain this would be rock and bowl, where the player gets in a star position. Good, and your bowling arm would stay down. And you can all come and demonstrate in the line. That'd be great. Yeah. And straight over like that. So that is the basic bowling action. Now, a couple of other differences that we saw in the video is that the bowler runs in. So that's another difference. The bowler is not stationary. The bowler does run in and deliver the ball. The other difference is that you would have noticed is that the ball bounces before it goes to the batter. Now, it doesn't have to bounce, but it's more beneficial for the bowler to bounce the ball in front of the batter, so it increases the difficulty in hitting it. As well, because we're bouncing it off of a surface, it can help change the direction of the ball, which again makes it more difficult for the batter to hit. And the ball coming in at a trajectory on an angle coming down means that it'll be easier to hit these wickets as opposed to going upward. So we're trying to get the ball to come down and hit these, as opposed to coming up here, aiming at the strike zone, basically. So what we could do is, I think if you want to roll the video. So there he is again. So pairing the players up, all we need here is really tennis balls, one per pair. And they're trying to bowl it directly to their partner. Now, a progression to this, which is specific to cricket, is bouncing the ball before it goes to your partner. So now I think they move into the next part of the drill, which is bouncing it in front. Great. So moving forward from here, we have a very similar relay, which I think we can set up again. So if you can take the wickets, or you can move those there, and they will line up here. Sid, yeah. You'll be the wicket keeper to start, Joshi. Then we'll just spread these out. Are you there? Yeah. So this relay will have, again, we can go three groups of 10, and 9 are lined up here, or whatever the number is, however you balance out your groups. Lined up here, we have a back catcher at the back, down there. If you want to widen the cones a bit. Yeah, we're gonna keep our target big, wider rather. Great, and so what they'll do is they'll stand up here, and he'll bowl to the target. The wicket keeper will catch the ball, roll it to the next person in line, and Akash will run down there. Go ahead. Great. Okay, Dashi, roll it down here, next in line. Good. Dashi, come this way. Good, and we keep this rotation going. As you can see, the 2 red cones are a target zone. And we're trying to just get the players to bowl through the target. Now we can add a competitive part to this and have the teams or groups competing against each other. And in this case, we can say, okay, the groups that get the most in between in 2 rotations are the winners, or we can even make it more difficult and have them hit the wicket. Like that. Wow, so they got a point for that, or 2 points. And that's a basic drill that we can use to help explain bowling. Not only that, add a little competitive edge to it, and teach them to bowl with their arms straight. And if we have any questions about that, maybe what we can do here, just as a little technical piece, is we can get Akash, who's a fast bowler, you can come and show us the grip. How they would grip a real ball, and it's good even when you're playing with a tennis ball to show the grip. Now, this is a ball, the rubber ball that's in the cricket package that goes out to the schools. It has a seam on it, it's not that visible, so maybe Sid, you can give him the real ball. So the grip is basic grip is 2 fingers on top, the thumb right underneath the seam, and if you can show the side, there should be or the other side, yeah. Perfect, yeah, there should be a slight space in between your palm and the ball, so that the ball can get out nicely. Yeah, that's perfect. Great, yeah, thanks. So that's the basic bowling grip. Now, if we have any questions about bowling, I'd definitely like to help with that. Okay, guess I explained that pretty well. All right, good demonstrators. Okay, moving on, what we're gonna do is in fact, we could just do the demo right here for fielding. So, in fact, you know what, let's roll the video for fielding, and then I can just build on it with the demo. So this is a very basic activity. The players stand with their legs slightly spread apart, and they're rolling the ball to each other, and we're learning the concept of ground fielding, and that's fielding with your fingers pointing down, which is important. There's 2 ways really to field a ball in cricket, and that goes for catching, especially it's with your fingers pointing down when the ball's at your waist or below, and then above your waist, we're trying to catch with our fingers pointing up, and we almost form a web in that sense. So what we can do is we can pair up, any 2 of you, Dashi and Akash. And I'll just move out of the way so that you can see them. And Dashi can move up a bit so we can get you on the video. All right. And they'll just demonstrate this. Again, come closer, Dashi, so we can get you on the camera. Perfect, okay. Good. Down, fingers down, good. And we're watching the ball into our hands. Okay, now what we could do is we progress this to a knee height or waist height catch, again with our fingers down. Excellent. And see, I'll get out of the way there. They're watching the ball into their hands. There's so many variations to this, this particular drill. One is that we give them a time limit, and within a minute, let's see how many catches they can take. So, that helps, it adds a little competitive edge to it, and as well helps them to play under pressure, which is a great skill to learn, something to learn from a young age. Now, we can now progress this to a shoulder height catch where the fingers would be pointing up. Perfect. Great. So there we've progressed from ground fielding to low catches to high catches. So we've learned, three key parts of fielding. There's another component of fielding, which is throwing. And that we can have a fun activity where we split one of the groups up into two. So we spoke about having 3 groups of 10 earlier. So this time we'll have the group split up 5-5, and we'll just demonstrate that with the 3 or 4 of us over here. So we'll take the wickets in the middle, I'm just aiming, right? Good. And we'll move the other one out of the way. So then we'll keep the 2 halves of the group equally spread apart from each other, so maybe about 20 feet apart from each other. Sid, you can come here. So sit in the camera. Good. So they're just aiming at the wicket, trying to miss a few. So. Good. Perfect. And they're going back and forth. They're trying to hit the wickets to get a point. And what would happen in that group of 5? Great job. After each throw, they rotate in their own group. So everybody gets a go. They don't wait in line too long. So again, a very basic drill, but it can create a lot of excitement and energy in the drill. Now what we do is, as they get better, we can ask them to take off 2 stumps. And if you don't have wickets, we could just place cones on the ground and try to get them to hit the cones. So becoming a bit more difficult now. Great job. And this is an important skill to know for fielding. In the field, the fielders are trying to aim to either get it to a target, meaning trying to get it back to the wicket keeper or the bowler, or to create a run out, to get a wicket through a run out. They're trying to hit the ball directly to the wickets. So that's brings us to the end of our presentation, and I don't think there's any more video to roll, right? Apart from that.
Just like a couple wicket drills.
Oh yeah, let's look at a couple of the drills that we have apart from these that we just saw. So this is pretty much the drill that we saw, except they're throwing to a coach or another player and rotating. There's another one. So we're timing the player. There's 3 cones with balls on top. The goal is to get the ball in between the targets. Yeah, we could, if we can we watch that one again? Is it possible? Yeah. So that one's exciting because it has there's a time limit. There's minimal amount of equipment that's required, and it's timed. It's exciting that way. They're aiming to throw to a target. And what's key here is there's 4 different angles that the player's going to throw from, one there. And this really simulates a player being in a cricket field, aiming at a target, getting the ball back. So again, a very entry-level type of drill that anybody without much experience in this sport can do and enjoy while they're doing it. So yeah, now I think, yeah, this is, that's the end of the presentation. If we have any questions about this cricket related stuff, or the program itself, which maybe Ranil can speak on if he's here. Or I can try and answer what I know of that.
Peter.
Peter, okay, Peter?
Thanks, Derek. There's been just some questions in the chat about getting, I know this is recorded, so people will be able to watch this, and you have other recordings that people can
Yeah.
watch as well. And you mentioned
For
a
sure.
manual that Runel, was that something that Runel put together, or is that something that you have? How would we be?
Yeah, Ranil has that manual that he can, I guess, send you the link for. And it's a, introduction to cricket manual, which we put together some years ago. We were also working on a virtual program where, we expand on these drills as well. So, but right now the manual is available for your reference, and Ranil can provide that to you. So maybe he can send you the link and send it out. I'm not sure how that would work, but he can definitely do that, and we have a manual ready.
That's awesome, thanks.
Yeah, Ranil's coming over right now, so I think with the program, he can answer some questions related to the program directly. Yeah, and he's just walking up.
I could ask another question, Derek, while we're waiting for.
Sure.
There was some chat about safety, and the response was, OFIA has guidelines for safety with cricket. I know,
Exactly.
No, Reynolds told me that grade 4 is usually a good place to start, but OFIA even has connections right back to FDK. So kindergartens, in terms of doing, like, obviously things would be modified and it would depend on your class, but there would be a lot of these things that we could still do with the younger grades, the bowling, possibly the fielding, or the trapping. I don't know if there'd be much catching at that age, but there would be trapping. And I don't know about the batting so much. The little cone that you had, or in baseball they call it a tee, is that in the kits that we would have received, one of those little cones to perch the ball on?
Yep, the tee. Sid, you want to pass the?
It is in, Peter. In case if you're not, I will be more than happy to send some to you for distribute. It is supposed to be in there.
Yeah, so this tee.
Or not this one. They have that smaller one.
The smaller one. Yeah, so the flat cones with the hole in the middle that we're pretty much familiar with here, they can also be used as well. These ones that we have available almost everywhere, really. These are in that package.
That is
correct. Yes. So and then what I find handy with these is that even when we put a Nerf ball on top, they sit nicely and they're easy to hit off of them. So,
Peter, if I can also add, there was a survey link that I put in the chat box. It would be really, really helpful for us because, as you know, we are just about 6 months into this, and we are always trying to get your feedback and try and improve the next session as we go on. So I appreciate if everyone can take a look at the survey and send you responses as well. Sunil, do you see any questions on the chat box that I can answer?
No, nothing new. I'm answering some right now.
Oh, okay.
thank you, Sunil.
Thank you very much.
There was the question of the manual that you can
Yes, I have a manual that is online. I have to say that we are working on updating it. This is one of the older ones that I have. For now, I will definitely send it to you. It will still be helpful. In the next month or so, we hope to to update that as well. We're just beginning to get back to work after school started because we couldn't put kids here until very recently. So things will be up and running very soon. But for now, Peter, I will send that link. You can share with everyone who attended.
Thanks so much, Ronald.
Yeah, I guess
That's it, yeah.
that concludes the session. And I want to thank Peter and Kathy for organizing this, and appreciate all of you for taking the time. The good thing in here is that in the past sessions, I would say the kids will come when the school start, but schools have started. You have already received the cricket set, so tomorrow is a good day to start cricket in your schools. All the best to you, and thanks again for taking part.
Thank you from all of us. Very, very appreciative of your passion and just the ideas that you've shared and what you continue to share. Good luck with the rest, and just to plug that as well. Please complete the survey and start playing cricket. The Jays are done, but cricket is on. So let's have some fun with that.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. All right. Bye-bye.
Have a great night.
Good night.